And we welcome you into Football Friday from Edmond, Oklahoma, team headquarters for West Virginia as the Mountaineers get set to take on the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. Tony Caridi along with Jed Drenning. All right, here we go. Two teams that know each other well. Believe it or not, it's only been 5 games since West Virginia and Oklahoma State met. Last year in Morgantown, tight game. West Virginia has a lead going into the fourth quarter. Oklahoma State scores 10 straight points. Jed, in your view, what has changed between these two teams in that relatively short span of time?
Tony, here's what I would expect. When these two teams faced each other in Morgantown last November, they were both probably playing their best football of the season at that point. It was late in the year. They'd worked out all the issues. It was a clean football game. No turnovers in the game, only 8 combined penalties between the two teams. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case tomorrow. What you're looking at here is a situation, two teams coming out of camp, an unprecedented, historically unprecedented pandemic environment. Everybody had to rearrange their life, their schedule, their conditioning schedule, their practice schedule. So there are still some things to be worked out. And I think at this juncture, whoever's worked out the most of those things and plays the cleaner version of football will have a big advantage. But I don't think it's going to be as clean as what we saw last November.
We are going to get a really good idea as to where West Virginia's running game stands right now. Now, in the opener, West Virginia ran the ball well, as everyone saw and everyone kind of expected. You run the ball well in this game against Oklahoma State. That will bode well for the rest of this season.
Well, let's start with the Oklahoma State game, Tony. I truly believe the offensive line, because their O-line's kind of at a crossroads just like ours is, okay? The offensive line that asserts itself in this matchup will give its team a huge advantage and probably come out on top. If West Virginia can come out with a full complement at full strength, all the personnel's now there, and set the table with at least some pretense of a run game to put us in position for more manageable third down situations and calls by Coach Brown, to help Jarrett Dagey when he's throwing the football, to work in the play-action game, to be a fully complemented offense, that all starts up front. If we can be the O-line that takes the next step, boy, is that a good sign for us.
And a final thought from you here. We don't know exactly who will be at quarterback for Oklahoma State. Spencer Sanders injured in that opening game, plus a couple of their offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So they may have Sanders at quarterback, but it would be impossible for him to be as mobile as he normally would be. That will also play into this game.
Well, you sure would think, right, Tony? But Mike Gundy is a poker player if ever there was one. A year ago, coming into the West Virginia game, he spent the week in front of the media talking about the reason he didn't throw the football in the pass game to Chuba Hubbard. He didn't want to risk injury. And that's why we never, ever throw the ball to Chuba. What happens? A career-high 7 catches for 88 yards. So he's up to something here as well, playing his cards appropriately. He doesn't want us to know what's going on. But like you talked about, fundamentally two different types of quarterbacks when they're healthy. But if Spencer Sanders has spent the better part of the week in a boot, how dynamic is he really? He's probably going to have to spend the duration of the game, if he plays, in the pocket, just like anybody else that's quarterback for Oklahoma State would have to do. What I expect, whoever's lining up behind center, they're going to feed Chuba Hubbard, they're going to feed L.D. Brown, they're going to lean on the offensive line to get its act together, they're going to max protect, put the football downfield for Tylan Wallace and those wideouts, and hope they make plays. I think that will be the game plan, irrespective of who lines up behind center for them.
Kickoff is set for 3:30. Our pregame coverage on the Mountaineer Sports Network will begin at high noon with the Go-Mart Mountaineer Tailgate Show. We invite you to join the crew, Dan Zangrilli, Dale Wolfley, Coach Wallace as well, along with Jed Drenning, Tony Caridi here in Oklahoma. And this has been Football Friday.